समितान निर्वाण रूपं विभुं व्यापकं ब्रह्मवेदस्वरूपं निजं निर्गुणं निर्विकल्पं निरीहं चिदाकाशमाकाशवासं भजेऽहम्। सर्वेभ्यो नमो नमः। Myself Nirkuma Behera. I am studied MPhil Department of Advaita Vedanta at Sri Jagannath Sanskrit University, Sri Vihar, Puri. My topic name is Essential of Vedanta in Swami Dayananda Saraswati's view. Swami Dayananda Saraswati expanded the Vedanta philosophy and is the renowned founder of Arsa Vidya Gurukulam. Over 5 decades, Swamiji taught Advaita Vedanta in India and other different nations of the world. Swamiji, a great Sanskrit scholar, was revered as a monk of the Hindu monastic order. Swami Dayananda Saraswati was born as Natarajan to Sri Gopal Iyer, father, and Srimati Balambal, mother, on August 15, 1930. He was born at Manjapudi, Thiruvarur district in Tamil Nadu. Initiation into spiritual life and joining the Chinmay mission. In the year 1952 to 53, Nataraj got introduced to Vedanta philosophy after regularly attending the discourse of Swami Chinmayananda. Gradually, he became an active volunteer at the Chinmay mission and also became its secretary within the first year of his journey. 1963, he went on a study tour at Rishikesh and spent 3 years studying Brahma Sutras under Tarananda Giri at the Kailas Ashram. 1972 to 1979, he successfully completed two to 3 years residential Vedanta programs. Natarajan's Vedantic wisdom reached zenith from here as Swami Pranamananda helped him strengthen his basic understanding of the scriptures. Pranamananda taught him how, rather than a system, Vedanta is more of a pramana or means of knowledge, which helps one identify the truth of the self. 1967 to 1970, he went on a spiritual mission across India for disseminating the tradition of Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita. 1971, he planned and conducted a long-term study program on Vedanta at Sandipani Sadhanalaya. 23rd September 2015, he attained Samadhi. Vedanta is the end portion of the Vedas, that is Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of the limitless being, which is, according to the Upanishads, the self. Vedanta reveals that the nature of I is free from any limitation. It is one non-dual being. The general understanding of the I is I am limited time-wise, space-wise, and knowledge-wise. It is because of this conclusion that I am struggling to become happy. This is what is referred to as samsara. In order to get out of that endless cycle, death and birth, I need to know my essential nature as free from death, free from change, and free from any limitation. Percival. Vedanta says you are the whole, you are full and complete as you are. You are everything you want to be already. You are the gold in and throws all the ornaments. All you need is to know, to remove the darkness of ignorance, to know yourself as such. That is freedom, that is moksha. That is what ultimately every being is searching for in life. Freedom from pain and suffering, freedom from the sense of smallness and inadequacy. You all want to be happy at all times and in all places. We cannot find that in the world is changing. That is the wonder of this creation of this life. What is Vedanta? In Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji opinion, Vedanta is a solution to the problem of taking myself to be a mortal, imperfect and subject to various limitations. These are the conclusions to every individual. Vedanta is the teaching which solves this problem. In its vision, you are the solution to the very problem from which you suffer. I am Brahma, the whole is Vedanta. Therefore, Vedanta is the solution. Vedanta does not offer a solution. Solution is Vedanta. Wherever there is a solution, that solution is Vedanta. A solution can only be in the form of I am the whole, I am free. Anything that unfolds this particular piece of knowledge is Vedanta, whatever else it may be called. Because Vedanta is the knowledge found at the end of the Veda. It is called Vedanta. The Veda is a body of knowledge handed down from one generation to another. It has no authorship in that it has not been authored by any given individual. It is a body of knowledge said to have been revealed to the ancient sects who in turn handed it over to the next generation, which handed it over to the next one and so on, right down to our own time. This lineage is called Karna Parampara in Sanskrit, meaning year to year. The knowledge is heard through one pair of ears and having been retained is passed on to another pair of ears. In this way, the whole Veda is mentioned intact. The Veda is divided into four: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda and Atharva Veda. These four Vedas are again divided into two parts according to subject matter. The first part of the four Vedas is called Karma Kanda and the last portion is called Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda is the section dealing with the rituals and prayers, whereas the Jnana Kanda deals with only with the realities, the nature of the self, the world and God. These three are interconnected. Those three are interconnected, and whether there is a difference between them or not, this knowledge or realities liberates the person, because Vedic vision is that you are the whole and there is no difference whatsoever between you, the world and God. The teaching is generally in the form of dialogues between a teacher and a student. One particular dialogue or a few dialogues together makes up one Upanishad. Therefore, Vedanta, otherwise known as the Upanishad, forms of the body of knowledge, which is the solution to the fundamental human problems. This is why we do not say Vedanta offers the solution. We say the solution is Vedanta, because the solution is in the form of knowledge, which is Vedanta. Thank you.